It's supposed to be a zombie impression, Walking Dead review, as I was going for. So yeah, Walking Dead review. Alright, so you know what? It's better than I thought it was gonna be, is what I'll say. That's one positive thing I can say. I thought it was gonna be absolutely terrible, like god awful, absolute broken mess, like almost all, you know, TV movie games are. But it is better than the average sort of TV movie game. Like I said, I went in with incredibly low expectations. I mean, based on a TV show, published by Activision, you know, that shit's the name of a company we call Activision, or Whacktivision, or Tactivision, or Lactivision, or Hacktivision. I'm trying to think of more. X-Ray Vision. No, it doesn't work. I'm not quite sure what the best adjective is to describe this. Okay is what I'm going to say. That's the nicest I can be. Okay. It just does have that, for the most part, that typical movie, TV, video game feel and quality to it for the most part. But there is, underneath it all, some slight enjoyment to be had. But for the most part, it's quite typical. So for the positives, it has both Daryl and Merle in it. Which is, you know, you don't often see actual characters within movie, TV, video games, do you? You often have you playing as a generic, made up, completely dull and uninteresting character with either no voice or a very terrible voice. But yeah, they actually got Daryl and Merle, the characters themselves. You play as Daryl and they got the original voice actors in, so kind of +1 for that, because you don't see that a lot. I mean, Lost, I remember, was one of the last TV show games I played. I don't think that had any of the original actors doing the voiceover for it, so yeah, that game was just flat out bad. Same with the Saw games as well. I don't think they got, they might have done for the second, but I know they didn't for the first. But yeah, they got that, and they used the actual theme of the show as well, which is kind of a positive. I mean, the game starts off and you play a little sequence, and then it cuts to like an intro, you know, like it is in the TV show, but you know, uses, you know, footage from the video game, which is cool to hear the sound of that. So it's got that authenticity in that sense. Another thing is, I do like the survival aspect of it. I mean, it's not very deep, but you know, you've got to scavenge a lot. Ammos can be quite low. You've got to search around really, you know, to pick up ammo and different supplies like medical supplies and what have you, and fuel for your car, all that sort of stuff. And you know, you can't. It's not, you know, a mindless run and gun game like many other games out there. I mean, if you run around like a hooligan, you can if you want to, but it is probably going to cost you. You're going to end up dead. And it is hard to kind of resist that sometimes, but it's not really the way you're meant to play. You've got to kind of be careful, watch out for zombies, take them out in stealth if you can, because you're often going to find yourself up against huge herds of them, and if you fire a shot, that's another cool thing, is the zombies react to the sounds of bullets. They're going to come swarming out the woodworks, and they're going to overwhelm you, and they're going to come from behind, they're going to come from the sides and in front, they're going to completely surround you, you're not going to have enough ammo, and you're going to end up dead. So I do kind of like that aspect of it. You know, it is, like you see in a lot of zombie films and stuff, is you're always up against the odds, and you know, you don't want to underestimate the powers of the zombies. So I do like that style of it. It's not just a run and gun mindless game like that. I do like this like survival aspect and how you've got to be a little bit more stealthy. You know, as hard as it is to sometimes resist, just going mental like a madman and end up dying, which, you know, I did do, you know, myself many times. But yeah, I do like that. Another thing I liked was the violence. You can't really complain about the violence. You know, if you've been a subscriber for a while of mine, you'll know I do like me some video game violence. Yeah, I mean, very much like a TV show. I mean, you can chop off heads with various weapons, chop off arms and what have you, and blood comes flying out aplenty. You know, you see zombies feasting on people, there's bodies all over the place, there's blood stains everywhere, there's mangled corpses and fences and what have you, and there is plenty of violence, you can't complain there. You do have a cool stealth attack as well, which, you know, which will have you, you know, sticking a zombie in the back of the head with a knife, or in the side of the head, or the top of the head. There's like a close-up mini game where a zombie grabs you and you've kind of got to direct your knife into its face, and quite satisfying in that sense. So yeah, you can't complain about the violence, it is all there. Another thing that I do like it does kind of capture the feel of, you know, a zombie apocalypse, how the world has gone to ruin, you know, with derelict buildings everywhere and bits of litter and rubbish scattered everywhere and abandoned cars and what have you, and like I said, dead bodies everywhere. And I do kind of like that. They did kind of capture the feel, and it has got some great sound effects as well from the zombies and hearing stuff going on in the distance, so they did capture kind of that, and I did like that. That pretty much is where the positives kind of end, and on come the negatives, which completely outweigh the positives. I mean, overall it does feel very rushed, and you know, it's very obvious, and that was the case. I mean, it's Activision, it's quickly get the game out as quick as possible, like it is with most TV movie games, and it shows. There is plenty of graphical glitches, clipping, you know, enemies going through each other, well, I say enemies, zombies, going through walls, seeing hands through walls, zombies going through each other. This physics problem sometimes, the physics can be very sporadic and just fly all over the place. It's quite strange, although I'm using it at the same time, but still it is a flaw. And also, overall the graphics, they aren't very nice. They're very typical movie TV style graphics, very muddy textures, very low resolution, and not too pretty overall. From a distance it's okay, and zombies' faces do look kind of nice, but yeah, other than that, the graphics, they're not very nice. And you know, I'll always say gameplay before graphics, but you know, graphics would have helped with the immersion in this style of game, so yeah. Another thing is, it gets repetitive quick and it gets boring quick. It's not really a game you really want to be playing more than an hour at a time, at least that's what I thought. I mean, it starts off, you think this is kind of cool, I'm stabbing zombies, there's zombies everywhere, the world's gone to ruin, I'm playing as Daryl from The Walking Dead, and then you're kind of doing the same thing over and over. It's stab a zombie, shoot a zombie, collect this, collect that, and it quickly gets quite tiresome. Yeah, it just, there's not really much variation to the game, and you know, at first it does look like there is some quite open areas, but once you sort of realise they are not really that open, they are quite small, which is, you know, not too great. Yeah, and overall there's not many things you can do besides just shoot the zombies and stab the zombies, and like I said, just collect stuff and find survivors. That's kind of really all there is to it. And in between like the main areas you go to, like certain towns and things, there is like sort of like little mini missions, little sort of kind of side areas in a way. Basically you collect fuel and you'll travel in between the main areas. It'll give you an option like you can take the back roads, but that will consume more fuel, but you're less likely to break down, and you will stop for more supplies, and supplies will be more plentiful. Then you've got the main streets, which, you know, it uses medium fuel, medium chance of breaking down, and slightly less supplies. And then you've got like the highway, which uses a lot less fuel, but you're a lot more likely to break down. And this happens in between each of the main areas, like I said. And basically you'll stop, like for instance you run out of fuel, or you go to a supply area, or a tyre burst, or something went wrong with the car, and you get out and you like go to a farmhouse, or you'll stop at a sort of an abandoned gas station, or a blocked area on a highway, and they kind of all repeat themselves. It's like, oh god, I've been to the farm already, I've been to this goddamn gas station. And they're all fun the first time round, but eventually you get sick of moving cars out of the way, and you get bored of having to stop into scavenging, like, oh forget it, skip the scavenging, just go straight to the main area. They do get very tiresome, and yeah, kind of annoying. Another thing is that really annoyed me is some of the cheapness to the game, particularly when it comes to the zombies. Basically the zombies respawn, and it's very annoying how they do it, because they kind of sometimes respawn instantly behind you and instantly grab you, which just comes off as very cheap and frustrating, because that's often how a lot of my deaths happened. I was grabbed by a zombie from behind who wasn't there, the game spawned it, it grabbed me, other zombies grabbed me, I end up dead. So yeah, that kind of annoyed with that cheapness there. I mean, you know, I think once you've cleared an area, the area should have stayed clear for quite a little while. I mean, maybe if you take long enough, they can keep, you know, then they can respawn and stuff and repopulate. But, you know, just having them spawn behind you very quickly just is very, very annoying, and takes away some of the fun, if you ask me. Like I said, that's pretty much it. It is very repetitive. It's kind of fun for the first hour, and then you'll start to notice all the flaws and bugs and the repetitive nature of it, and it gets boring quite quickly. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a game worth the full price, and it probably still won't appeal that much to die-hard fans of the show, at least not the core games. Maybe the casual market may like it, but personally I think it's, you know, maybe worth picking up a little bit cheaper somewhere down the line. It's not worth full price by any means, because it's a very short game as well, by the way. You know, and there's no multiplayer, there's no co-op, which would have been perfect. There's no real story to it either. That's another negative. They had a chance to tell a pretty decent story with, you know, Daryl and Merle's relationship just as the apocalypse was starting, and they didn't really do anything with it. It's kind of, you know, nothing really happens. It's a missed opportunity. Like most of the game is a missed opportunity. It just had this overall rushed feel to it, and it didn't get the time it needed. It never was going to get the time it needed with Activision publishing it. And, you know, that's the annoying, because a lot of these movie TV games, they have so much potential to be amazing games, but they're just not given the time. It's simply, let's just get some money. Let's just throw a game together, use the name of whatever franchise it is, and get some money. So yeah, it's a shame really, but yeah, I mean, maybe it's worth, you know, picking up if you can find it on eBay, you know, a few months down the line, pretty cheap, but it's by no means worth paying full price, because at its core, for the most part, it is a typical movie game, TV game that doesn't do justice to the show, which I love The Walking Dead, by the way. I think it's amazing, and this game doesn't do it justice. If you want the ultimate Walking Dead game, you're going to have to stick with Telltale's games, because this isn't it, by any means. And like I said, it's sad because it could have been, but, you know, it was never going to be great, was this game. But like I said, it is better than I expected it to be. It has got some positives on there. It is better than the average TV movie game, but it still doesn't make it good. Like I said, the best way I can describe this game is okay. It's the nicest I can be. It's okay, it's playable, it's not absolutely terrible, it's not broken, but it ain't worth paying full price for. So maybe pick it up, you know, maybe 15 quid is the most I'd say you could pay for it, or whatever that translates into dollars or whatever currency you have. But yeah, it's okay. So yeah, so that's my Walking Dead review. So thanks for watching, guys, and I shall see you in the next review. And oh yeah, and by the way, Aliens Cloning Marines still holds the title for worst game I've played this year, and I'm pretty sure it's going to stay that way. I thought this might top that, didn't. Aliens Cloning Marines still holds that title, so let's see if that can get beat, huh? So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.